And we're live. Everybody keeps asking me to get Lee Judges back on the screen, and I've got him. The Judges is here. We're going to pass judgment on Arsenal. How you doing, Unks, man? You good?
I'm all good. Thank you very much. How are you? All good?
I'm good, man. Not so much about our football team, but I'm sure I'm going to wipe the smile off your face when we get into it, man. So that's probably the best place to start, Unks, man. Like, where are you at with Arsenal at the moment? We battered City 5-1. We're a bit deflated after going out the League Cup against Newcastle. Where's your thoughts at? Where's your headspace at?
Yeah, not in a good place, if I'll be honest. Listen, how can I explain this? Forget about where we are in the league. Forget about Champions League. In January was a big month for us. Got out of both cups, domestic cups. You look at the FA Cup now, and at the weekend, all the big teams are going out. Listen, you can go out the FA Cup. That happens, and Newcastle are a good side. But for me, January, the transfer window was a big letdown. It was a big letdown. Listen, people have had a go at me on Twitter because I've said about my season ticket and all that.
Oh, you're not alone, man.
What I'm actually talking about is like, I feel disappointed by it all, because you might think I'm silly and deluded or whatever, pardon the pun. But what I'm saying is I genuinely think that we could still win this title. I genuinely think that Liverpool could crumble. I'm not saying that but you've got to put pressure on them and everything like that. And then when I look at it and I think you've lost your best player for, it was a massive injury. That was 2 weks before, 2 weeks, the 21st. So it's 10 days.
You had ample time to act in the market.
Yeah. Listen, if you was playing now and Saka goes down injured now, you just got to go, do you know what, hands up. That is unlucky. That's, we don't deserve that. But it's happened before the January window. On top of that, in the January window, Jesus went down as well. To not get anybody, I think is a real kick in the old ghoulies for us. I really do. And I am disappointed. I can't help it. I cannot help feel let down by the club, let down by the manager, let down by the club, because they didn't go out and help this team and help these players. And you're on Twitter, you get clipped for just a little thing that
out of context,
the whole thing, what I actually said and everything like that. It was what I was saying. Yes, I'm going to support the players because the players deserve supporting, because look at what they've done against Wolves when we went down to 10 men. Look what they've done against Manchester City. Look what they've done against Newcastle when they were probably a little bit fatigued, if I be really. And I don't want to make excuses and everything like that, but that it is. Then they go out to Dubai. Look, not a problem with them going out to Dubai and getting some things and all that, but the people are going, oh, this is it, it's great, they're going to Dubai, you know what I mean? The reason they're in Dubai is because they lost to Man United in the FA Cup. It's not
we ain't got no games to play.
Yeah. It's not a winter break like it was last year. It's completely different. That's all I'm saying, you know what I mean? Yes, go out there and have a good time and whatever, glorify it and all that, you deserve it. But, you're there on the back of a defeat against Man United. We should have been playing Leicester this week if we took our chances and whatever. And the reason we didn't beat Man United is because we had Newcastle, Tottenham in that week, and we couldn't. We had to rotate somewhere, and I get that we had to rotate in the FA Cup, but we couldn't rotate as much as probably what the manager would like because we haven't got the squad. And the reason we haven't got the squad is because we're down on injuries, and now. We're an injury away from an absolute crisis up top because
lost Martinelli now as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then the transfer window closes, and love behold, Martinelli's gone down. So we are now really. I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know how people feel about it. And I know people that are on Twitter having a go and all that. But seriously, is if you're happy with what happened in January, then I don't understand. I don't understand you, you know what I mean? I get you want to support the club. I get you want to get behind the team and all that. But when you've got your own player, star player, coming out and saying we need backup, you've got your manager saying you need backup, and you don't go and do it, I think you know, and with the money that we all pay for season tickets and things like that, I'm entitled to have a moan. I don't care, like, oh, you're entitled to. Yes, you are. As a fan, I'm entitled to say what I like, do what I like. You know what I mean? That is what fan is all about. Yes, when you go to a game, of course, back the players and the team, and I do back the players. But at this moment in time, I've got to say, it has hurt me. It's hurt me that we didn't go out there, because I genuinely felt that we had a chance of winning this league still. You know, I still think we will give it a good go, but I'm sorry, there's an injury away from it. You know, you're not going to go through 14 league games, definitely 2 Champions League games. So, you know, hopefully like maybe another 14, 20 games. Not only are they physical, but they're intense, because you've got to win those games. You can't not go
through. No margin for error.
No margin for error. So injuries are going to happen. Fatigue's going to set in. Someone said to me the other day, yeah, but the good thing is we've got March. We've only got 3 games. A good thing we got March. We've got 3. The reason it's a good thing is because we ain't got two of those weeks are FA Cup weeks, and one's an international week. You know what I mean? Listen, you don't think that the German manager or the England manager now is going to turn around and go, do you know what? I'll give you a rest, and break you down. Like, they're going to be worked hard, these players. Not like when they come back, oh, we'll give you a bit of a break here and give it. They don't care about that. So when they go off to international weekend, fingers crossed, because they're not going to be looked after like they're being looked after by us, because the interest for them is those games that they got coming up.
Yeah, they don't care about your domestic season.
No, of course they don't. So, you know, we've just left ourselves in a real difficult position, and I can't understand it. If I'll be really honest, I can't understand it. Why? You know, and what I was sort of saying was about me, like the season ticket and things like that, was when you buy, you have the choice at the beginning of the season to buy your season ticket before the transfer window comes in. The transfer window wasn't the greatest, but I understood it. And then in this one here, it hasn't come good, like, you know what I mean? And I just feel like I feel let down, and I'm not gonna make any bones about it. I do, and if everybody else feels, and it's not because, and people go, oh, we're second in the league.
No, I hate when they get into that chat, punks, man.
We're in the Champions League. I'm not thick. I know we're in them, but can we win them? If January give us the best chance to win those 2 trophies, and I haven't, and that's what I feel down about. Like, listen, if Arsenal go on and win the league this season, or they go on and win the Champions League, or dare I say it, both, without doing anything in the Champions League,
it's a miracle.
I will get on my hands and knees and say sorry to the Cronkies, say sorry to the club, say sorry to Mikel for doubting you, but I don't think it's going to happen, in my humble opinion. Now, my opinion means nothing on that side of it, like, you know, but I just feel for the players. And if I feel like this, what do they feel like? Do they feel if I was a player, I'd be a little bit let down by not bringing in real form. I'm not saying
they clearly do. Rice said it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we should be going out and spending £100 million on a strike. I've never said that. I understand that we can't get that. I get that.
But we need bodies.
But we just need bodies to strengthen the squad, just to back up it or whatever, like, you know. And we haven't done it. And that, for me, is where. And these people that turn around and try and push positivity just to be popular, like, please do me a favour, like, you know. You deep down, I bet you're at home, you know, cooking your husband's dinner or sitting at home, you know, cooking the wife's dinner. Don't want to get into all that sort of stuff, like, you know what I mean? But, like, moaning, going, oh, if we had only had a striker, we only had this, we only had that.
Facts.
That is what everybody would be saying. But then they get on there on their little keyboards and go, oh, we got to be this and we got to be that, like, you know. When deep down, everybody I know, you know, I've been, you know, talking about Arsenal, like my mates in the groups and all that. We're all disappointed by the
all saying the same things.
So why can't you come out and say it? Why have you
Because
got
people
to
got vested interest, Lee, man. People aren't going to get their tickets and they're not going to get their media passes and they've got agendas and all of those things, Lee, man. People can't be honest.
I don't understand why you can't be like, listen, I get it that some people are genuinely like, believe in the positivity, but most of them don't. But I've got mates that will come out on, say on the quiet, we've had it, and then go on camera or go on social media and say, no, we're still in with a chance. And I'm looking and going, you just told me that we ain't got a chance.
Yeah, you're saying two different things.
You know what I mean? So I understand it. Look, listen, everybody can support their team the right way, but don't criticise people if they're not happy with the transfer.
Stop policing opinions.
Yeah, and I'm not happy with the transfer window. Listen, people have had a go. This is the unbelievable thing about social media. I actually give it a 7 out of 10 window, and like I got pillared for it. Like, I mean,
I gave it a 6. I feel the same way. I did as well.
I give it a 7 out of 10 because of the back of last season was unbelievable. If you look at it, like one defeat and a draw since that break in Dubai, that's unbelievable. To go half the season with
credit where due it is.
Credit where a game against Aston Villa we probably should have won, and we drew with the champions. You know what I mean? Like the fact of the matter is that we went on that run, but they only dropped 2 points on the whole of that run, Manchester City. So it was an unbelievable. So I get it when you're looking at that transfer, just strengthen the squad and everything like that, and that's what we done. So I wasn't. I would have liked the striker, but we didn't get it. You know what I mean? I understand what was going on. And then we got injuries. The striker situation was like a sore thumb. It was showing that we needed it. Right, you got January to do it, and they haven't done it. So you go, oh, right, that's a disappointing transfer window. And then you get people going, stop being negative and all that. Well, when you're as positive, I was getting pillars and you can't end.
You can't win, man.
You cannot win. You cannot win. Look, for me, the transfer window, some people have said it's a naught. It's worse than a naught for me because I think it will cost us winning the league. You know what I mean? Like, do you imagine if we don't win the league by another 2 points or whatever, like, or something?
I can't take it anymore, Lee, man. I can't. I'd rather it be much more than that.
Yeah,
now,
do you know?
Because they'll tell us about fine margins again.
I am actually now going to games thinking, well, if we don't win this, at least, when we played Man City, I went to the game like, don't get it, you this is how I'm feeling. If we go into the game before the game, I'm going, well, if we lose today, at least I know it's done and I can get it in my head that it ain't done. If we win,
I can process it.
It goes on, it goes on for another week, but it's coming, like what's going to happen. But when you're in the game and in the moment, it's fantastic and everything like that. And then you go up to Newcastle, and I went up to Newcastle. I knew we weren't going to win that game, right? I knew it, right? But honestly, I went up to the game and I just talking to Newcastle fans. Generally, I just said, well, how do you think you're going to get on then? Like, what do you reckon today?
They were a bit nervous, to be fair.
You score first, you'll win this. You know what I mean? We're really. I went up. What do you mean worried about it? Yeah, you've got it. Well, no. But I went up there. Every Newcastle fan that was there was worried about that. Worried if we scored first. And in the end, I'm thinking, well, if we get the first goal, we
might do something.
Might do something. And of course, they scored the first goal, and it's all gone. But you could sense the relief in the stadium and all that. Like so. And again, you look at that game, fine margins. Odegaard has a great chance to score. And if we score that, I do genuinely think we'd have given them a much better game. But listen, then of course, Martinelli gets injured and all that. And I'll be really honest with you. Someone said to me, I haven't really enjoyed watching Arsenal play that much. Obviously, the Manchester City game. And somebody said to me, well, what about when we beat Crystal Palace? We beat them 5-1 away from home. And I said, you know what? You're right. It was a great result and all that. But in my head, I seen Saka go off after 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy that game. I knew that he was. You
knew what was to come.
Yeah, at least for 5 weeks, which it is 5 weeks now. And now they're sort of saying he's going to be back by the end of March or the beginning of March, end of March. I'm sorry, I'll be very, very surprised if we see him this season. Very,
exactly.
Very surprised.
We've been
Very,
there
very
before,
hard.
Lee, man. Like it's like a new signing, etc. And I'm with you. I feel the summer market, I think, was a missed opportunity, but we had a last chance in January to really act. And I don't know how you look at it. Who do you point the blame to? Do you point it at Mikel Arteta? Do you point it at the Cronkies? Because at the end of the day, like, we've left ourselves short. We're relying on the young Ethan now, and it's a big burden for him to carry, really.
I lay at all of them. I don't think that Arteta. I think like a lot of people are trying to give Arteta a free ride at this and
Facts.
a free pass. He has an influence. You know what I mean? Like, don't.
He knows his employers as well.
Yeah, it cost them millions and millions of pounds to let Aubameyang go as they did, and they backed him on that. So, you know, he has got power in that club to do it there. I feel there's someone at the how I look at it, and I go back on this, and I think it was Wenger's downfall as well. You need someone in that club that's going to go, that's not a yes man. Now, I don't know who that is, but for instance, Arsene Wenger go up to what do we need? Oh, I don't really need no one. And David Dean would go, oh, well, I think we do. I think we need this, and we you know what I mean, Arsene, we definitely need this. Well, no, and he made him.
He would stop him from his madness.
Yeah, well, when he left, you know what I mean. Then it was like, oh, I don't need a midfield player. I just signed Petr Cech, right? Yeah, that's all right, Arsene. If that's what you want, right? But if David Dean was there, David Dean, I'm pretty sure would have gone, hold on, Arsene.
Yeah, you're smoking something.
We need more than that. We've only got Arteta and Coquelin in midfield. If one of them goes down, or two of them, we're in trouble. Love it may be at West Brom, they both went down, and then that was a kibosh to another season. Like, you know, we was doing really well. If you remember that game, we was doing really well up to West Brom. We ended up losing it, missing a penalty in the last minute. But more importantly, those two players went down. Season finished. What I'm saying now is that Mikel might have turned around in this window and they said, right, we can get you Ollie Watkins. We can, I don't know, we can get you so and so. And he's turned around and gone, do you know what? No,
I don't fancy him.
I don't fancy that. I'm going to go with what we've got. And someone
there has
gone, hold on. What happens if we go to Newcastle and Martinelli gets an injury and he's out for 4 or 5 weeks? What happens if Saka comes back and he has a setback, which can happen, like, you know what I mean?
Probably will happen, unfortunately.
Of course it will, you know what I mean? But I don't think he's got. So what he's done is he sat in a meeting. He's gone, do you know what? I don't. It's like, how can I say it? Like, you know what I mean? You imagine them all sitting around their table with their folders and all that, right? So what do you reckon then, Mikel? I don't think we need one. We go with what we've got. All right, okay, folders away. Let's go and have a cup of tea. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like, someone on that board, on that table, should have turned around and said, what if this happens and what if that happens? And no one did. So I'm going to blame Mikel for it. I'm going to blame Paul for not having a spine and selling him something and not having someone in there that isn't just focusing on players and whatever, is seeing it from the outside in line, saying that, oh, look.
Without emotion.
Pushing him, saying, like, you know, we could, you know, I'm not being horrible. If you go into, if you're the person buying and all that, like, right, and you I don't know, how can I explain this, right? Your washing machine, right, is you got a washing machine, right? The bloke comes in and says to me, you really need a new one.
It's on its last legs.
It's on its last legs. But if I just do a little bit here with it and that, like, you ain't got to buy it. You know what I mean? Like, as the buyer, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to turn around and go, oh, yeah, all right, then I don't need to buy a new one. I'll go and buy
and then
one.
It's going to break eventually down the line and you're fucked.
Eventually, I'll go buy it. But see, it's an easy win, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but if you said to him as he walked in there and said, mate, it's kaput. Lee, it's finished. There's no way you can get it back. Like, you got to go and buy a hot point for $2,000 or whatever, how much they are. No, not like that much now, but, you know, like, you got to go and buy a new one. You go and buy it.
You got no choice.
Selling you you don't really need to buy it, Lee. You ain't gonna. So the owners, you don't really need to buy it. We don't really. We can spend in the summer. We're going to spend all your money in the summer. I don't really need to spend it now. Oh, I'll keep hold of it then. It's simple. Like, you know, Bosch, yeah, you can get Bosch as well, like that. I mean,
Exactly. And that's the annoying thing, Lee. It's like I do think us Arsenal fans were gaslit. I actually, that's why I like speaking to you, because I think you're a realist. I think when there's every reason to be happy, you're happy. When there's evident reasons to be
yeah.
upset, you're upset. One thing I hate is that it's always a spin job. It's always, and we're getting to that point where it's now always next season, and we're assuming the summer goes to plan. Now, I hope they've learned from last summer, but in hindsight, we didn't sign any level raises. We didn't make our team better. And then you look at January, and I want to ask you as well, like, do you think it played a part that obviously we've got Jason Ito, who's not officially our sporting director?
Listen, it could do. It could do. I look back at the Newcastle game, right, and I'll ask you, right, I'll ask you this question. Change it around. I'll be the interviewer.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Was you disappointed when the January window closed?
1,000,000%, man. 1,000,000%.
I was disappointed, right? Do you think that some of the players might have been a little bit disappointed?
1,000,000%. Going back to what we said about Declan Rice, they know they need reinforcements.
Right.
They want to win the league.
So the performance against Newcastle, was it that they was jaded? Yes, maybe that. But maybe like their heads weren't quite right because of what happened in that transfer window. You know what I mean? Like, well, maybe psychologically felt a little bit let down. I'm pretty sure that had been squashed now. They've gone to Dubai and whatever like that. Blah, blah, blah. We can do it, refresh and whatever. But I think that on the top, like footballers are humans. We're humans. They're no different to me and you.
Facts.
It's just that they've got like that they're playing like, yeah. So they're sitting on the coach on the way up there, or the plane. Me and you are sitting on the coach on the plane, right? Put your old earphones on or whatever like that, and you just give me a little nudge and go, "Well, you read about that transfer window not bringing no one in there?" Well, yeah, I'm quite surprised we didn't. You don't think those conversations went on?
1,000,000%. They're not stupid. Like, even our defenders, because after the Newcastle game, fair enough, Raya made a mistake, Saliba was out of sorts, but our defensive unit, they've bailed us out of trouble in both ends 9 times out of 10. They might have been sitting there and saying, bloody hell, you know what? We can't afford to have an off day because there's no one to bail us out. I even feel sorry for Kai Havertz. I know he's nothing to scream and shout about, but you're trying to make him this 20 league goal scorer. So I really question the whole logic. And like what you said with January, like I wasn't optimistic because we've been here before, but I thought to myself, surely like Jesus' injury, Saka's injury, it's going to fall apart. And it didn't do what we did. So slightly, is it just a thing where the Conkies just want top 4 then? Because we look at shooting for top 4. We all know the finances. I don't think they want to win a Premier League because surely you act in the market if you want to salvage something.
Listen, I don't believe they don't want to win anything. I'll be really honest with you. They don't want to. They don't want to spend massive amounts winning it. There's a difference. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good point, fair point.
If the manager's telling you, I can win this without spending no money, I don't care who you are. You're going to go along with it. You know, I don't need this and I don't need that. Like, listen. Saka's gone down, right? You know what I mean? And everybody's going, oh, we need a Saka replacement. We need to spend 40, 50 million pounds, 60 million pound on a backup for Saka, right? No one's going to come for 50, 60 million as a backup to anybody. You know, you want to be playing. So ideally, you find someone within the group to replace that, which we have found in Wanyeri. He's a natural replacement for it. For the next couple of years, I look at Wanyeri, 17 years of age. I don't think he's going to nail down a first team regular place in the team, but he can cover Odegaard, he can cover Saka, and he'll get games and experience before eventually there's going to be a decision, right? I'm 20, 21 years of age now.
What am I doing?
I want a regular place in this team. Where are you playing me? That will come and that will happen and that will progress naturally. So that's so you look at it as a manager. For me, I'd go up to the Cronkies. I'd say, look, I've saved us £60 million here, 50, 60 million pound because from Wanyeri, I've saved us 50, 60 million pound with Miles Lewis-Skelly playing in the left side, so we can sell a couple of, well, we didn't sell Tierney in the end, but we could have done. And
Zinchenko was linked to him. Not sure what happened there.
More money in there, and that can get us this striker. This can get us whoever it is, without you really having to deal in a lot of money. Yeah, all right, we'll do that then. That's great. So, well, what they haven't done is at this moment in time. I don't say like we needed to go and buy an Isak in the summer, in this January transfer window, because we know that's not available. Sesko, I think, is one that they're probably going to go and buy if I'm a betting man, but they didn't want to sell in the summer until the summer. So there's nothing we can do. But what you can do is just go and back up players like
get something to tie us over.
Yeah, tie us over. I'm not saying it has to be a forward. Could have actually been a wide left or a wide right player. I don't know who, but someone to just cover it. So
facts.
We've got Trossard that can cover Havertz, but it ain't ideal. You know, and just get somebody in. Listen, I've always said it. Football is ruthless. Football is it's not friends and a jolly boy.
It's unforgiving, man.
Well, look what happened with Ramsdale. Look how ruthless that was. You could have just gone and got Watkins, and then in the summer you think, oh, we've got our main guy now, right? And sorry, Ollie.
We play Havertz though, Lee, as some would say, man.
You know, that can happen in football. Whether you think it's right or whether you think it's wrong, that's what it's like. It's not
the belly of the beast.
It's the belly. Yeah, great analogy. It is the belly of the beast, and that's how it is. So, I just find I don't know how you feel about it. Maybe I'm wrong and all that. I just feel that there was a lack of ambition to win the league from everybody at this football club. That's why I'm disillusioned about spending more money for a seat. Like, for instance, you know, I love a bit of merch and all that. I love all the things and all that. Like,
you should, it's your club.
And but even if I won't buy it at this moment in time because I feel let down by the club.
You know what I mean?
I know it doesn't mean anything to anybody else. It ain't going to hurt the Cronkies. It ain't going to hurt everybody. But it just makes me feel a little bit better. It just makes me feel a little bit better.
You're not alone. I'm exactly the same, Lee, man. Like, and that's the thing. It's like, I think at Arsenal there's been a lot of lip service, but I feel like in the last 2 years, excluding now, at least the talking is somewhat married up with what you're doing on the football field. I can't say you haven't shown ambition. Now, I felt coming into this season, all right, cool. You've had 2 years where you've not won the league. This is now where we're really trying to capitalize. I'm definitely not happy with the summer, and I kind of checked out from then. But it brings me back to what you said. It's like the January window, whether it's the Cronkies, whether it's Arteta, whatever. I only feel disappointed for the players and the fans because we've shot ourselves in the foot, and it's really made me question, one, if you really want to win major honors, and two, if you do, why are we always going against the grain? Now, I know I'm not necessarily against balance sheets and self-financing and all of that kind of stuff, but I do feel if there were some other teams in this situation, they act. And I know fans will sit here and say, oh, who would we have got? There's no one on the market. I hear that. I'm not a scout or an expert, but really, other teams have done it. It just seems like excuses, really, and moving the goalposts. And it just feels, as an Arsenal fan, we do that every year, and we're ultimately short.
Listen, I couldn't agree with you more. Like 2 seasons ago, right, we was challenging for the title, and Saliba and Tomiyasu went down after the January transfer window, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. And
your hands are tied.
We was and we ended up like going away from the league. But at the end of it, you looked at that with a consolation and go, do you know what? We've given it a real good go. Just didn't quite happen, and blah 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 blah. Last season, I still felt that we didn't maybe do enough. Maybe should have done something in January to just ensure that we could perhaps push through. And all
we're not even learning from our previous mistakes.
Yeah. And but I understood it again. How can I say it? Like I was proud of the team, even though we didn't win the league. I was proud to be an Arsenal fan. I was loving following them and all that. Really looking forward,
especially
to
the second half of last year. They stood up
just fell short, in the Champions League. And I look back at that Champions League game. No coincidence. The game we lost was in between those 2 games of Bayern Munich. So we played Bayern Munich, drew 2-2, then lost to Aston Villa, and played Bayern. That game there was Mikel's downfall because he didn't know what to do and rotate. And if you remember rightly, he put Havertz into midfield and brought in. I can't remember. He brought up. I think it was Jesus up front. It didn't work, and we ended up losing. And I felt then that he could have probably done something in January to just boost our chances of winning it, but we didn't. This season, though, I just felt that there's no excuses. I always look to back the club, back the team, back everyone, and try and make excuses. And I have made excuses, as I just said, for those last 2 seasons.
As have I.
But this season, this January, I can't make any excuse for it whatsoever. Any excuse whatsoever. And I genuinely feel let down by it. And and I'm sure everybody does. Everybody does feel a little bit if not let down, disappointed that they haven't got anybody. And I just think that, then you see Martinelli go down. You can see the deflation in the away end. Oh, no, another one gone down.
It just never gets better. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse on the player availability front.
It does, you know what I mean? Like, and look, listen, you can blame the owners, blame this and blame that. We don't know. They might have offered this and might have offered that. And Mikel might be turning around and saying, well, if I get that, I can't get this in the summer. I don't know. We don't know. This is the thing we don't know.
All hypotheticals at this point.
So it's all of it in there. And I get that. If Mikel come out and said, look, we can't buy the striker. I can't get the striker that I want. So I'm not going to have to do. I get that, right? So go and get a loan deal. Go and get Rashford. Go and get somebody like just for a loan for 6 months.
We've seen a lot of players go other clubs that we could have dealt with in January.
Yeah, just someone just to give us a little bit more strength in depth. And people will go, oh, I don't want Rashford and all that. Well, I'd rather have Rashford than nothing. I'd rather have, I don't know who else went on loan or whatever. There's Osman at Turkey. We could have got him.
Soleimani went Juventus, which we'd have had to went down the foreign market for loanees. I'm not a big fan of Morata, but even the Morata idea allegedly
just something.
Desperate times.
Something, you know what I mean? Because poor Kai Havertz now, and I know there's things on social media. He's got injured in Dubai, apparently.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh gosh,
but it's just rumours at this moment in time. Probably I won't go along with that. But he has got to play week in, week out now, every single game, and for Germany as well. That March time comes in Germany. He'll start in those games. Saliba's another one that'll start in those games. You know what I mean? Declan Rice, so important to us, will start in all the England games. I don't know England have got, is it Latvia or someone like that? But they're still playing. I thought
it was Albania or something.
Albania and Latvia, such, they're still playing that. Who else? Martin Odegaard will be off to Norway, but whatever happens, that we're playing in there. Both of their games, both 90 minutes. And
Gabriel, Magalhaes.
Gabriel will be travelling all the way to Brazil. You're quite right, and playing both games out there.
The whole party doesn't go off with Ghana, which he hasn't done a couple of times because
there's going to be a time when they're going to say, right, we're going to have him. You know,
true.
What I mean? So all of a sudden,
it starts to look dark, man.
I think I might go away on International Week and just shut away from it because, you don't.
I think you're better off doing that, man.
You don't want to be around watching those go. Oh, you're going to be just scaring through it, just get through it. So listen, it's a massive, massive gamble from Arsenal what they've done, and. To be honest, that's what I'm saying about my season ticket. Do you think? I don't think it's fair that they should be gambling on that. With the money that we pump in, the money that the fans pump in, and all that.
Playing with people's emotions, man.
We shouldn't be gambling the size of the club that we are. That we're hoping they're not going to have injuries. I remember, I don't know how long ago it was now, 10 years ago it may be, when we only had Giroud up front, and every time he went down, he was panicking. And then right at the back end of the season, do you remember he broke his foot or something when he and you just say, right, well, so you gamble and you gamble and you gamble. Listen, you go into a casino and you keep going red. Eventually it's going to come up black. It's as simple as that.
The house always wins, man. It's like we're going against the grain sometimes, man. And I get it. We want to do it in our own way, but sometimes you just have to try something different. Like, I know no two seasons are alike, but where injuries are concerned with us, as you said at the beginning, like against Crystal Palace, scoring 5 or 4 goals or whatever, we've done all of that. But when it truly matters, I don't think we get over the line. I don't think we improved our depth, and I don't think we improved our quality to our starting 11. And I think January just merely highlights all the issues. Like in August, we sat there and said, what happens with Odegaard, with Saka, with Ben White, almost everything we spoke about, we've seen it play out. which is annoying because you lot are too intelligent, too much money spent. You know, as you said, the size of the club, for you lot not to have had these conversations that me and you are having online. So it's like, are you choosing to go against it, or are you not doing anything? Either way, football's a results-driven business, and it's incompetence. And then how do you look at Mikel Arteta? I'm not asking you Mikel Arteta in or out. Reality is he signed a new deal. Where are we going then?
Well, the worry for me with Mikel Arteta is that he is putting himself under, you know, like in tennis, you get unforced errors, or you get like, you know, he's putting himself under unforced pressure. You know, if Arsenal don't win the league this season, which is even at this moment in time, is a hard task. You know, we could be 9 points behind tomorrow, like, you know. But if Everton beat Liverpool tomorrow, like, it's only 6, and you don't go on and win it from there, don't win
got to play them at Anfield as well.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So the Champions League, don't go and win the Champions. Arsenal are capable of winning 14 games on the spin and still not winning this league, right? That's how it is.
That's how sad it is, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, that's what Arsenal got to do. They've got to win every game now, 14 games. They can do that. And then they don't win the Champions League because I'm sorry, what happened at Newcastle can happen in the Champions League. Better teams will come up and outdo us, and we won't be able to outscore.
As we saw against Bayern, it's about fine margins.
Yeah, it's fine margins and everything like that. I looked at that game against Newcastle and I think, right, come on then, lads. Every one of you has got to be on button today. Every one of you has got to be on point. You've got to play to your best potential. Like you did against Manchester City, and not one of them did. So is that big time mentality or fatigue? I'm going to put it down to that probably that Man City game took a little bit too much out of them. But if you look back at the home game, where I think that the game was won and lost for Newcastle, it was won for us, it was lost. We didn't perform again. So that worries me, that, you know, has he got the ability to get these guys over the line? So going into next season with big money spent, because there better be big money spent next season. Do you imagine if Arsenal only spend have another window like they did last summer? You know what I mean? Like,
they better be the best players ever that they found from the edges of the earth, mate.
You know, it will be very, very, what's the word? On the edge. It'd be edgy.
It'll be on a knife edge very quickly.
It'll be edgy. And if he doesn't perform and we're in this same position this time next season, going out of cup competitions, I just think that the pressure will be on him, like, you know, and fans will turn. And he doesn't deserve that. And that's my opinion. People might go, well,
I don't want to get back to the toxic stuff at our club as well, man. We're finally somewhat solid as a fan base.
I have enjoyed watching Arsenal over the last 3 seasons, going to places like Liverpool, going to places like Man United, going to places
top
like
6 record's decent now.
Yeah, going to places like Tottenham, winning games from there. And when we've not won games, and I mean like Manchester City and Liverpool, we've drawn, being disappointed that we've drawn. That you know, is down to the manager that he's done that, like, you know. So listen, finishing second is not disastrous. It's not the end of the world, but when you do finish second, somewhere along the line you've got to get first. It's no good getting second, and then dropping to third, fourth, fifth. Like, if you get to second, you've got to get to that top spot, and he needs to do that. And if he doesn't, I'll be disappointed. Like, to be saying, right, you know, I'm not in a position where I feel uncomfortable saying, oh, he's got to go. Because
I'm not quite at that point yet. With
what he's done now at the beginning of his tenure, when we was 8th and 8th, and
he's fortunate not to have been sacked then, to be fair.
Losing to Burnley and Everton and all those sort of teams, and then that's a different matter. But he has done some real quality stuff in the last 2 years that I don't think should be discarded. It's the right. I'm trying to think of the best word, but he deserved. Where can I put it? He's got, what's the word? Something in the bank. I mean, he's got a bit of
credit in the bank.
Yeah, credit in the bank. He's got a little bit of credit in the bank, but it's you know what I mean. Like, it's coming down all
It's
the time.
running out now.
It's running out. Yeah, the credit's running out. Like, you know what I mean?
Needs
And
to top
listen,
up
you
his
know,
odds.
when your credit's running out, you start to panic and make decisions. So that's where I think that the problem lies. At the moment, he's built up credit, and people go, "Oh, well, he hasn't won anything." Like, you know, listen, we have to challenge for the league is not easy to do, and it hasn't been easy to do over the last few years. We've done that, and what we've got to do now is get ourselves over the line, you know. And what he does also needs, he needs the proper tools. Now, if at the end of the day, if we do sign Sesko and we do sign Isaac, whoever we sign in the summer, that's his choice, that's his man.
We're being linked with Jota now as well with Liverpool.
Well,
Whether that's true or not, it's probably not.
Going to win you the league, is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You can't see another one who can't stay fit. He might be at home here then.
But again, like, listen, Jota would be a very, very good squad player if Jota comes in alongside a Sesko or an Isaac or whoever. You turn around and go, "Well, that's not bad. That's a good signing."
Plus, you got Ethan involved now. We got some numbers now.
So you need to have top quality in there. I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing to do, but we need to bring in that player, and with that brings the pressure of, right, you've got to nail it now. You've got to nail it, and if he doesn't nail it, I'm afraid that
writing's on the wall, man. Realistically,
it's
a result-driven business league.
It is, because you look at Liverpool and Slot.
A new manager been there 5 minutes as well. We were speaking about if City ever fall off, we're the ones, and it's not looking like the case.
He's a new manager that hasn't had to build a squad or build a. He's just
3 of his key players deals running down as well.
Yeah.
No
So
transfer
it's
market
for him in the next couple of years than it is now. Where I feel that Mikel's built the squad, built everything now. If someone else to come in now, we'll just tinker with it a little bit and get us over the line. You know what I mean? Someone that knows. And I do worry about that when I see the performances against Newcastle in the semi-final on both legs, which are big games. You know what I mean? Like, you're either winners or losers in those sort of situations.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And we've become losers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we didn't flex our muscles like Liverpool did against Spurs. I know Spurs, people that go, "Oh, Newcastle not as good as Spurs," and whatever.
We didn't leave it all out there. We got too many regrets.
Yeah. You go out. Like what I'm saying, a proper winning mentality team, and I'm talking Man United in their pomp, Arsenal in their pomp, Chelsea in their pomp, Man City in a pomp, 2-legged affair at home. Bosh, game over. Not lose it 2-0 and then have to go and fight their way.
Yeah, and tried to find the odds.
Doesn't happen. You know, I remember years ago in the League Cup, we played Crystal Palace over 2 legs. I think it was a year we won them like 4-1 over in the aggregate, 2-0 at their place. Job done. You know what I mean? Like, job done.
As it should be.
As it should be, yeah. As it should be. And that is something that we've got to get into our DNA.
Why do you think it's missing then?
Last season. So again?
Why do you think that's missing then? Like, because you mentioned getting into our DNA.
Because you need it's getting trophies under the belt. Like, who won the League Cup last season? Liverpool. Who's favourites to win the league this season? Liverpool. Who's in the final? Liverpool. Have a look at the last.
City's collected a lot of them under Pep as well.
I'd go on the last 10 years, right? Just go back in the last 10 years. Liverpool have never won the title, right? But in that 10 years, there's been an FA Cup, a League Cup, and then the Champions League, then another League Cup maybe. Then
and they've run it close on a couple of times as well.
Yeah, it's been like runners up, but no one's saying that because then comes the title, another runners up, but they've won a league again. So it's winning mentality, win, win, win. Don't be afraid of winning. Enjoy it, embrace it when you keep winning. And the one thing that I would knock at Arsenal's door through their whole history, I don't think Arsenal have ever been a club that's wanted to dominate English football.
In my 29 years, I'm the same way, Lee. I'm the same way. I don't think we've ever wanted to do it like that because we go against the grain too much in my lifetime.
Yeah, I look back in the 89, we won it 89, we'd lost it in 90, 91, 92 was runners-up. So there was 4 years of dominance there, two titles, 2 runners-up.
I've never seen us retain a league title.
No, you know what I mean? So we ain't done that since the 30s. So, you know, so you look at that team there, that was a little bit of dominance. Certainly early, like 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, another 4 years of winning a couple, dominating it. But as you say, I look back at that 2000, from 98 to 2004, we probably should have won more titles.
Should have stopped Man United's treble as well, man.
Yeah, you know, a little bit unlucky for that, but like, you know, a little bit more could have been a little with that team. We should have been a little bit more dominant. So when I look at Man United, they've dominated English football for a while. Liverpool done it back in when I was a kid. Days, not going to mention what years, but they done it. And then of course Chelsea have really, really dominated it. But they've had a little bit of a run of it, like, but Manchester City have dominated it. And I want to see Arsenal dominate. Now, how do you dominate that is you've got to start somewhere. I look at Arsenal in 1987. We won the League Cup against Liverpool, lost it in 88, won the title in 89. That was the catalyst. That's what started it. But all of a sudden, they've got the taste of what it's like to be a winner, the taste of what it's like to be playing in big semi-finals, big quarterfinals.
Being able to cope mentally with those demands as well.
100%. So when you have a title game decider at Anfield, you're battle hardened because if you've gone to the semi-final against Tottenham and got through that, you got to the final against Liverpool, got through that. You've had the disappointment of getting to the final and losing it, like, you know. So it makes you tough. It makes you hard. I remember once we played in the semi-final. I'll never forget this. We lost in the semi-final, and as you go back into the change rooms, the door was open, and you could hear the team down the corridor all celebrating and all that. And someone said, "Shut the door. Don't want to hear that." And the manager said, "Leave that open."
Exactly. So you remember how you felt at that moment.
And the next time, whether it's with me or it's back in the next day, whoever it is with, right, listen to that and don't let it ever happen to you again.
Exactly.
And it's with me for all my time when I've done a little bit of coaching, coached and whatever. If a team's beat us, I'll leave the door open. Like, you know what I mean? Someone went to me once, I've shut the door. I said, leave it open. Listen to it. Don't ever be sitting in this dressing room again. And I think that is a thing. You need to have that toughness, which we go through, but being runners up, if you have a look at a lot of teams, they get runners up and then they move on. That's what we got to do. When you get there, open that door. Remember what it's like to win. So I do think that's something that Arsenal have not quite got over the line yet. And that's something that they need to do big time. And it was an opportunity to go against Liverpool. And
I'll back us at Wembley. I'll back us against anyone at Wembley if we're in that final.
As well, you know, you beat them for that. Put a bit of pressure on them in a different way. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know, if we do slip up here, this team's going to be there.
And like you said, you believe you can do it because you beat them. Yeah. If we got them.
And I hear a lot of people say, "Oh well, we play Chelsea at home that day. If we beat them, that's, you know, they've got more." I think no.
I hate when fans do that, man.
Yeah, just
you want to be in all 4 comps.
You want to be in them. You want to be in that final. You know what I mean? I always try to look from a positive, from the negative. Like, you know, we needed to be in that final. More so for me than the FA Cup final, because for me the FA Cup final. Or the FA Cup, for instance, was early rounds. One round, you don't know what you're going to get. Like, as it's panned out, you know, it ain't panned out too bad. Our cup run would have been at home to Man United, home to Liverpool, home to Fulham. Now that ain't bad to get to the last 8, is it? Like, you know what I mean?
And you knock them teams out. You're not laughing, but you're laughing a bit.
Yeah, you're getting yourself at home. You're getting a little bit of luck of the draw. You know, listen, that was a tough game for us to get Man United. Not because it was Man United. We knew we had to rotate in that game where they perhaps didn't, and we
still should have won.
And we should still have won. You know what I mean? Because we missed chances. You know,
and then it went to penalties,
all the time. We've missed chances. Look at the chances we missed in that game. You know, and it weren't just Kai Havertz gets a lot of stick for that, because
Odegaard missed his pen as well.
But Odegaard missing the penalty, which wasn't a penalty. But listen, Man United fans, moaning and groaning and saying we're cheats and everything like that because we got that penalty. I don't hear them turning around and say, let's scratch off the goal on Friday night. You know, it happens in football. It happens in football. You take what's there at times and you move on.
They won't mention how our unbeaten run many years ago ended as well. But Man United fans, being honest,
but and they got the Man United fans call us cheats and all that, like, you know.
They invented the cheating.
One to no one, sir. That's what I
Exactly. You made a great point there, Lee, about like getting over the line. Yeah. How do you feel about Mikel Arteta? Of course, we could employ contexts and we went out there and whatever. But when I look at his rap sheet, like Europa League, Premier League, not really Champions League, but Champions League, whatever way I shape it, apart from the FA Cup, he's come up short. So does he have a winning mentality?
Well, that's a great point. That's a great point. He needs to prove that he has. I think that he has. He's got some sort of mentality to be a manager, and he looks a bit ruthless and all that. Like, what annoys me, and one thing that really annoys me about it, is that when you go, he's won the FA Cup. We won that with Emery's side. No one's going to turn around when Liverpool win the league this season and go, that's Klopp's side.
That's a good point.
Like, you know, it's not. You know what I mean? Like. He might have had his players, but it's not his team. He still had to work a way around that and find tactics to beat Manchester City and Chelsea in the final. I think it's very, very disrespectful when fans want to have
a very simplistic way of viewing stuff.
And one want to say like, he won it with Emery's team. Well, he didn't win it with Emery's team. He had to implement his own style on it, and to get the results he did in that semi-final. Don't forget, we played City when they was at their very, very best. And winning titles and everything, and got the result there, and then backed it up by beating Chelsea as well. Like, you know, so for me, that's disrespectful. But so he's capable of doing it. But his record since in domestic competitions is shameful.
It's appalling, man.
Yeah. All right, we'll say that it's appalling.
It has been, especially in the FA Cup, man. It's been appalling. Give or take, I'll allow you for the United game, but I've felt that, and that's one hill I'll die on. I think he's really. I don't want to say the gaffer's thrown it because I don't think he has, but for one reason or another, it has been appalling for me, man. And for me, like, surely you get a bit more credit in the bank if you pick up the League Cups and the FA Cups, because people sit there and say, Ten Hag is better than him because he's won 2 trophies at United, which we all know is nonsense. But you can't really argue against the simplistic logic.
You can't argue that. And listen, with cup football, the other thing is, which you can throw mud at the wall or not, or make it stick or whatever, is that you need a little bit of luck. You know, eventually you're going to play someone decent, but it's getting through those early rounds without having, you know, like for instance, Man City, if they get to the last 8 of the FA Cup, they'd have played Salford, Orient and Plymouth, right? At the end of the day, right? So you need a little bit of luck to get through in cup competitions. You have a little bit of luck, you know. Not only that, is that when you're playing bigger games like Real Madrid, or you're playing a league game against Liverpool or whatever, you can rest players in those cup competitions and still get through. So you need a little bit of luck in it. Our last 3 years, we've gone out against Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United. No disgrace going out in those competitions.
They're bigger teams in the cup.
So it's so I can hold my hands up and say it's disappointing it was to lose against Man United at home. It was a poor side. Liverpool, we should have pumped last season, if you remember rightly.
Comes back to needing a tracker, man. Same old issues.
Chance after chance. We actually played well against City up there, and in the end losing 1-0. So you look at that and you go, well, all right, I can take them. But it's then losing to the likes of Southampton, Brighton.
I remember Nottingham Forest a few years ago.
Nottingham Forest away from home that were in the Division below then.
Yeah, they weren't what they are now.
So those sort of performances, that going out of those sort of cup competitions, those have not been good enough. Brighton at home, I remember West Ham away last season going out. They're the ones that I look at and go, do you know what? That ain't good. Europa League, not good enough in the Europa League.
Playing Smith Rowe up front in the semi-final against Villarreal. I don't know what Arteta.
Yeah,
he can make mistakes, but yeah, that will always stick with me.
So there's been question marks over a lot of it, and other things you can say. Oh, we've been trying to go for this. Listen, the last 3 seasons we've been trying to go for the league, and I'm going to be really honest. If as bad as it looks,
well, be honest, man.
I would have like you're gambling for the FA Cup to win the league. I would have, let's go for it. So I get that, but we've come to a stage now where we've not won the league. We've not won that. You've got to start winning some trophies now. There was a thing up last week. I was digging at Spurs that in the last 24 years they've won nothing, and it was saying all the teams that have had. And I think it was Chelsea. I think 22, Man City 18, Arsenal 4 trophies in the last 20 odd years.
See
that we've won. And you think about it from that ain't good enough.
It's not good enough. 4.
So there's the manager to start winning trophies. There's no two ways about it. Arsenal to start getting winning trophies and winning mentality. I also believe that if you win a League Cup and an FA Cup, it's not the be and end all. But what it does is it makes you push on to next trophies. I think it's very, very difficult for Arsenal to go and win a Premier League or a Champions League without any cups before that. Do you know what I mean? So for instance, you're taking on, I don't know if Arsenal were to get to the Champions League final, like we did, like let's just say, like when we got it last time, we're playing Barcelona, who are serial winners. So whoever you play in the Champions League final, if you're Arsenal to get that semi-final, quarter-final, you're playing a team that's experienced in there. Bayern Munich, for instance, serial winners. Probably their experience in the competition and winning things and all that was the little fine margin that got them over the line. So we're going to come up against that again, and we've still not got that winning mentality under our belt. Yeah. So I do think like it's so important that we start winning games and winning a few cup competitions. And I think that's why the League Cup would have been very important, because I think it would have been a springboard. Whether he would have gone on to win the league this season, I don't know. But listen, look,
would have been a reward for the hard work as well.
Liverpool didn't win it last season after winning the League Cup, but they've won it this season. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there is that in it. Like, people go, oh, it's a disgrace to lose to Liverpool. Is it? You know what I mean? They've got Champions League winners in there. They've got Premier League winners in there. And they've got League Cup winners in there. They've won all domestic 3.
I know Slot's won the title as well. I know it's in Holland, but it just makes me think, does that play a part as to why he's getting one over on Arteta currently? I don't know.
They've been there and they've done it, and
exactly.
And that's something we've got to eliminate from us. We've got to start winning trophies, and it's going to be hard this season again. Another season without a trophy puts a lot of pressure on the football club, puts a lot of pressure on the board, and more importantly, puts a lot of pressure on Arteta.
I've got 2 last questions for you, kind of piggybanking off that, because we've talked about the club, the Cronkies and everything else. How much of it do you think it plays on the players? Because, you look at someone like Bukayo Saka and Rice, not only for club have you come up short, you've been in 2 Euros finals. Saliba always talks about winning trophies and he's linked with Real Madrid. How long do you think it's a thing before they start thinking, do you know what, I might have to go elsewhere? Because a lot of these players, the key players, their contracts got like 2 years left in the summer.
Another year.
That's what I was hoping you wouldn't say that. Won't get scared.
Listen, I'm a player. You want to win things, right? And you want to win them with Arsenal. Don't get me wrong. Every one of them players in there wants to win that title with Arsenal because it means so much more than anywhere else. You know,
because they're with their guys, yeah.
Yeah, and like if he went to, say, if Saliba went to Real Madrid, they win it bloody nearly every year or whatever. Like it wouldn't be as special. So he wants to win it with Arsenal, blah, 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 blah. But there will become a stage where you're going to be a little bit down and all that. Not yet, because I think that as disappointed I am this season, I would be looking, and I'll be honest, I'm Declan Rice as well. I'm going to go, well, let's see what happens in the summer. See what they do, if they really want to go for it. And if they do go for it, and listen, it might be like my fault that we don't win the league if I miss a chance or whatever, so I want to go somewhere else. But I'm then thinking, right, another season like this season, I'm Saka. I don't care Declan Rice. I'm knocking on the door and going, look, you've sort of sold me a dream here that it's not really a reality, is it?
Yeah.
So I think that they will need convincing, and I don't mean by pay packets and whatever, by what happens in the summer. If Arsenal go out and spend the big money,
because they're fair enough,
go and buy 3 players, and we know, mention names, but you know who they sort of are. They bring them in, 2 attacking players and a midfield player, and I think a young midfield player like the Norwegian guy to just to back up what we've got, because we're losing our squad. We need depth. Players. Yeah, we just need to strengthen the midfield up as a squad player as well as a big player. Zubimendi, they say, is coming, so that'd be great. If we've got Zubimendi and that Norwegian kid, I'll be happy with that midfield going into next season. That's even with our 2 guys leaving, because Wanyeri can play in there as well. I would then get in this forward and the 2 forward and a wide player. We should be very, very close to winning the league. And that means then the likes of Saliba are playing well every week. Declan Rice playing to his ability. Saka playing to his ability. Those guys have got a responsibility to make sure that we win the league as well.
We get over the line.
Saying like, well, I want to leave. So I think that next season will be the key. If, for instance, things we're less short in the transfer window again, then you
already know where the ambition is if you're Saliba, Saka and co. Like you're thinking, 1 year, play it out. If not, getting on the phone to my agent, because these are like, if you're Saliba, I know it, it doesn't really matter, but if you're Saliba, you're in the French team, so that's Camavinga and Mbappe, all of them. They're telling you about Real Madrid. Bukayo Saka spoke to these City and Liverpool players in the same way Declan Rice must have been speaking to these players about Arsenal. So they must be considering things. I want to ask you a final question then to wrap this up, Lee. Like, where we're at, if you're Arteta, do you target the Prem or the Champs? Like, if you had to put your eggs in one basket, because some say we're better at the cup competitions.
I'm going to be really honest. As I said earlier on, you can win all 14 games, you ain't going to win the league. But if you win every game in the Champions League, you won it. So
true.
The Champions League is in our hands at the moment. But what I'm saying is, you just make sure that you are in a position where if Liverpool do mess up, you can take over, and don't give up on that. Because City could have given up against us a couple of years ago and last year, and they didn't. So they kept going and going and going. So I want to see a mentality from these players now. I want to see us come back from Dubai. I expect us to smash Leicester.
Especially because that's the first game back.
Yeah, first game back. Go out there, prove that it was right to go to Dubai. Look fresh, look energised. Then you've still got another week off. Then you're going to have a midweek game until you play West Ham, so you can recover, train, play, go and beat West Ham. Then I don't think we've got a game then until.
Yeah, there's a bit of a break.
I think we've got Nottingham Forest after that, haven't we? I'm not sure.
There's definitely a 2-week break or something in the Premier League.
Yeah, we've got another break because of the FA Cup or something. And then we go again, and that's what I want to see. I want to see it and in the Champions League, see who we get in the Champions League, and make sure that we do it So yeah, we've got Sheffield, we've got West Ham, and then on the Wednesday we got Forest. Then we ain't got a game till Man United away.
Boy.
So another 10-day break. Then we play Chelsea, and then we got we actually play Chelsea on the 16th of March, and then we don't play again till April the 1st.
So we're gonna have to make it count, man. We're really gonna have to make it count. Just as you was talking about the breaks, it just made me feel like I wish we were still in the FA Cup. I wish we were still competing, but it is what it is, man. I again, like you, I think it's gonna be a silverware-less season, but I think I speak for every Arsenal fan where I hope we're wrong, innit? I hope the club do the impossible where the Prem and the champs are concerned. But between the summer, between the January period, we've just shot ourselves in the foot. And I know no 2 seasons are the same, but it does feel like the same things are kind of costing us. And one disappointing thing for me is, especially around Lewis Skelly and Ethan, it's like I big them up, but they're 2 of the youngest players. And 9 times out of 10, I've got more confidence in you on a consistent basis. And that shouldn't be the case. You lot should be leading. I think City was an exception where everybody was kind of with it. But it's neither here nor there, man. Lee, it's a shame that we've had to do this under these contexts, but it's always a pleasure speaking to you.
No worries. Right. Listen, you can't always have it good. You know what I mean? I know that there's, you know, and listen, we are moaning, and I will leave it with a positive. We are moaning about it. We are not happy as Arsenal fans, but we're second in the league and still in the Champions League. There was a time when we'd be still in the Champions League and would have beat your arm off for that years ago. Yeah, we'd be 5th or 6th trying to get into the Champions League. So it is a different feeling, like, and it is just a little bit disappointing because we want to win the trophies, like. But at the end of the day, it's not all doom and gloom. I will say that, like, you know, as bad as the transfer window was, we're still a good side. 11 for 11, we're as good as anybody. But we all know to win a league, to win a Champions League, it's a bit more. It's a squad.
And like you said, man, and that's where I want to get over the line, because I've seen us chase the pack. I've seen us, like, what was it, 2022, 23, we was top for like 200 odd days. Ultimately, we didn't win. We got no choice but to go again. Lee, let us know where we can find you, man.
Yeah, look, Lee Mark Judges on Twitter and on Instagram and all that, like, you know, show me some love on there, like, you know. Well, definitely do. I definitely get a little bit more love on Instagram than I do on Twitter, but there you go.
Join the club. I hate tweeting, man. There's always someone in my mentions, man. It comes to the territory.
Do you know what? I actually quite find it amusing, like, you know, like you say something like, you know, I've had a good weekend, like, with the football wise and all that, like, and you always get the ones that go twats, bald-headed, whatever, like, you know, like,
they do the most, man. They do the most, and they want to say it to your face.
In there, like, you know, it's not that I don't know that I'm bald, you know what I mean? So I don't know why I have to highlight that, like, you know what I mean? But there you go.
What can you do, man? Lee, as usual, man, it's always a pleasure. Again, if you're too lazy to listen to what Lee said, all you got to do is check the title. The YouTube channel's in there. Subscribe, show a fellow Arsenal fan some love. Lee, let me let you enjoy your afternoon, man. One love, man.
No worries. Take care.
Come on, my guy. Peace. Always